I want to address the fear that you have as it relates for dating. You may ask yourself, like, what if I miss the red flags? What if I get cheated on again? What if I get embarrassed? What if I choose the wrong man? What if I settle? What if I accept him for his potential and then nothing happens? This is the thing. You may have chosen the wrong man in the past. We all have. We all have. But this is the thing. Your fear of choosing wrong really has to do with your lack of trust in yourself. And today I want to encourage you and I want to empower you. Welcome to Heal to New Sex, where we discuss all things healing, self-love, and relationships. My name is Cynthia. I am a licensed therapist and coach. And before I get into if you pick wrong again, I want to invite you to group coaching. This upcoming Saturday, February the 21st is sold out, but there are still spots available for February the 28th. So please come out all the month of love. I've been doing coaching on Saturday and I would love to see you there. Okay. It's really been good. So let's talk about the fear you have if you choose wrong. I know a lot of women are like, Cynthia, I don't want to date anymore, but really it has to do with self-trust. And I'm just going to go out here and say this. If you choose wrong, so what? So what if you choose the wrong man? What? You have to know, right? Let me say it this way. You have to know that you have the ability to identify the wrong man quicker than you did before. So if you choose or accept the wrong man, be quicker to leave. That's the ultimate issue. It's not that you chose the wrong man in the beginning, it's that you stayed longer. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that you know what is not aligned for you. And once you realize that it's not aligned for you, get out the way. Okay? So when a woman says, I'm scared to choose wrong again, what she's really saying is, I don't trust my judgment. I've ignored the red flags before. I allowed that man to trigger my nervous system and still went ahead. I saw that he was emotionally unavailable and still went ahead. I dated that man for validation and affirmation, and really I needed to affirm and validate myself. I was dating for my inner child versus a grown woman, and that's how I got a relationship with that man. I let that man manipulate me and push the relationship forward even when I didn't feel comfortable. That's what you're saying. But you're also not saying, but Cynthia, I did the healing work. I've journaled. I've gone to therapy. I've gone to coaching. And I really need practice and I really need to get outside to ensure that these skills that I think I have, I actually will use. But I'm fearful about that. All right? I want you to know that your fear isn't irrational. It's trauma informed. Your dating or this belief really was created during a painful time in your life. This belief may have been created during your divorce or a terrible breakup, or when that man betrayed you and you learned that he was married, he had kids, he was lying about being divorced. That's when this belief was created. And one of the therapies I do called cognitive processing therapy, we would ask, is this a dependable source of information? Meaning, when this belief was created, who were you at the time in which the belief was created? Or was this belief given to you by someone else? Okay, so think about this belief about being fearful as it relates to dating and if you will choose wrong. If after a relationship you say, I always choose the wrong man, this belief was created out of that painful experience. And sometimes a part of healing has to do with get really the nitty gritty of your beliefs and looking at what you believe and why you believe it, and then replacing that belief with a neutral or more healthy belief. So if the thought of dating brings up fear for you, then you have to identify, because our emotions are not always facts, but you have to identify the belief under the emotion, because that's where you're operating from. Okay. Are y'all taking notes? Because y'all need to pause this right here. Sit, take a minute and say, why am I fearful as it relates to dating? Where did this belief come from? Because remember, when we were younger, we were, what the lady said, like strawberry wine at 17, baby. We wanted the love. We was singing Beyonce Dangerously in Love at the top of our lungs. And then at one point we was like, hold on, wait a minute. I want you to get to the space where you are looking forward to experiencing the love of your life. You're looking forward to a gentle love, but you got to address the fear first and then give yourself permission to go out there. You have to know that you are a different woman now. I'm 37. I'll be 38 this year. The 37-year-old Cynthia is very different than the 27-year-old Cynthia, who was I'm still am a single mom, but was in an unhealthy relationship. The things that I accepted at 27, I don't accept at 37. The non-negotiables I had at 27 are different than the non-negotiables I have at 37. You need to identify the difference. The decisions that you made then, you won't make now, and then step into the newness of you. Okay? And don't let anybody hold you captive based off of the dating or the marriage or whatever mistakes you made in the past. That is not who you are today. Girl, we healed, holding what? Sexy over here. And we're not going to let nobody else tell us anything different. We what? Healed, hold, sexy. That's what we are over here. Okay? So let's talk about the truth. You didn't choose wrong previously because you were incapable. You chose wrong because you were unhealed, or you had limited information, or you had misinformation. Do you see how saturated the dating field is? I told a client, I think a couple of days ago, you have to date differently. If you've experienced trauma, if you experienced a toxic relationship, if you have an unhealed nervous system, or you previously had an unhealed nervous system, and so now you're trying to move into dating more securely, you can't just take general information and just apply it. You have to tweak it so that it works for you. Okay? So give yourself grace, be merciful to yourself, and forgive yourself for the dating mistakes that you made previously, because you did your very best. And sometimes the very best that we've done before as it relates to our relationship was based off of limited information, based off of, relationship advice we got from unhealed people. Okay? You were hopeful, you were attached. And many of us, sometimes when I hear a woman say, Cynthia, but I've had his child, we've been together this long. You may not have been in the relationship because you loved him. You were in the relationship because you were attached. And sometimes women stay in unhealthy relationships because you've put in so much energy and effort. And you're like, well, I don't want somebody to get in the relationship after me, and then they get the benefit from all the work that I've done. Relationships shouldn't be you building the man. We are what? Not rehabilitation centers for broken men. And if the man is broken and you're rehabilitating him, you're really taking the energy that you need to put in yourself, you're giving it to him. You have to even look at, why am I attracted to a man that I got to build? Okay? I want you to know that healed women don't date the same way wounded women do. And you should know that. That's why you're here. That's why you're doing your healing work. Because you're showing up differently, but you got to address this fear. You are not the same woman you were last time. So let's talk about why we dated terribly before. And I'm saying we. And I'm not saying we because I parle français. Okay? I'm saying we because I was you, dating from an unhealed place. We date from this place because we choose chemistry over character. Character is something that you can't really tell necessarily from the first conversation. You're dating from the butterfly, when really you need to take a moment to see if you can really get to know him. I need to do a video on this, and I plan on it, because there are many women who are like, Cynthia, I kissed him and I didn't feel anything. And sometimes the reason why you don't feel anything is because you're moving too quickly. You are now dating from a healed place. Before, there were butterflies, there was all of this, because that was your nervous system. Your nervous system at that time, right, was addicted to chaos. It was addicted to confusion. And so now if you're dating from a healthy place, you have to give yourself time for the attraction to grow. Now, I'm not saying date somebody who look like Shrek because he's safe. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? What I am saying is give yourself time, especially if this is new, of you dating from a healed space, to really get to learn who you are as a healed woman dating. All right. And give time for give time for attraction to build. You're building a foundation. You may be rushing it because you're used to the old pattern of dating. Okay. The reason why you chose wrong previously was because you chose words over patterns. And over here, we respect a man's behavior. We're watching his behavior. And if his words don't match his behavior or his actions, then we know he's an unsafe man. And he's not what? Man enough for me. That's what Tony Braxton said. Okay. You chose wrong previously because you chose fantasy over facts. And remember, we're working on not engaging in maladaptive daydreaming and not being limerent. You chose wrong previously because you chose potential over proof. And we're like is it Missouri, the show me state? We try to, if we can't see it, if it's not tangible, we know it's what? Not real. Okay? So that's why you chose wrong previously. But now you are ready to date differently. You're ready to accept differently. Remember, we don't control what we attract, but we control what we accept. Okay? So let me give you 5 steps so that you can date intentionally and reduce fear. 1, slow down the fantasy. Limerick girls got to date differently. I'm going to do a video for that. You got to date differently. Do not start planning the wedding after the first conversation. You have to be mindful of when you're engaging in maladaptive daydreaming, when you're limerent, when you're feeling in the spaces for him. We don't fill in the space. We don't give credit. We don't do anything. We allow a man to show up who he is, and then we evaluate if that's the man for us. Okay? So stop future tripping. And a lot of us get caught up. A man will come and he'll be future faking, and we're future tripping. We're believing what he says about the future that he wants, but we're not believing his actions towards moving us towards the future. Okay? So stop imagining his last name. Stop writing your name and then putting his last name after it. Oh, his name is Bactococcolus and my name is Cynthia. Oh, Cynthia Bactococcolus. Oh, that's so cute. It's not Bactococcolus. That's a disease, gal. His name Mr. Wrong. Oh, my, it's Cynthia Wrong. Yeah, Cynthia, you dead wrong. Because that's not your man. Stop that. Stop planning a future with him because you've done that before. You have to be present. You have to be present. Okay? And many of us have a difficult time being present because then we have to feel whatever we're feeling, whether that's insecurity, whether it's triggering our abandonment wounds and it's triggering our worth and our self-esteem because we're used to men coming in and affirming us and validating us and our beliefs about being chosen. It's bringing up all of that. Just because it brings that up doesn't mean that you have to engage in your unhealthy behavior from the past. There are situations that are going to trigger you. But you have to determine is this a true trigger, right? Well, let me say it this way. You have to determine, is this a true threat? Or am I responding to a behavior that's safe but just similar, okay? For example, let's say you are allergic to bumblebees. So your body will see a bee, a hornet, a wasp, and it responds. Why? Because it knows that bee, if it stings me, I'm allergic. But if you have a playing card with a bee, your body is able to determine the difference as it relates to danger. Your body knows this bee on this card. Let's say you're, working with your cousin, baby. B is for bee. Your body doesn't respond to that. And that's the same in dating. You have to determine, is this a true threat or not? Okay. Your job in early dating is only to collect data, information. You ask yourself, does his behavior match his words? Is he consistent? Is he emotionally available? Does he make me feel safe? Does he respect my boundaries? Do I tell him, oh, I do my face routine at 9 o'clock, but I can talk to you at 8:30, but he calls me at 9:05? And you answer. So now you just taught that man that he could disrespect your boundaries. Does he meet my standards? If you are a woman that you said, I don't want to date a man with children and he has children, are you able to say, you know what, you are a wonderful man. I have enjoyed getting to know you in this, and this isn't the first conversation, but I don't date men with children. And then you don't allow that man to guilt you into being with him. Are you a woman that you're like, I can't afford to date a man with a criminal record because of maybe you have a security clearance and or maybe you are a pharmacist or you're a doctor, and you know, like, I can't be with a man that he used to be a street pharmacist. And so once you learn that he has that background, you say, it's been wonderful getting to know you, but I cannot date a man with this on his record. You have the right to choose that. You have the right to determine that. And don't let nobody talk you out of that. Okay? I'm bringing it up. All right? Does he respect your boundaries the first time? And the reason why we have to slow down the fantasy is because we need to be in tune with reality and what's happening. There's many women that created a fantasy of the man, married the man, and now you're disappointed and you're frustrated and you're trying to change the man. Okay? Fantasy clouds your discernment. Number 2, we observe, we don't project. We don't make it make sense. If it's not making sense, then it's not making sense. We don't add to it. We don't take from it. We see him. We're intentional about seeing him for who he is and how he decides to show up. Remember when Clay was late picking up Megan, and he was like, "Oh, baby, I'm sorry." He was like, I thought I had timed it right." We're paying attention to things like that. You guys schedule a date and he's supposed to pick you up and he's late and he doesn't apologize, or he's chronically late. Okay? He's inconsistent early. He pushes your sexual boundaries early. Like I told y'all, if a man is comfortable talking to you about sex, you need to be comfortable asking him some questions. I did a video in the membership, Teach Him How to Have Sex with You Without Taking Your Clothes Off. You need to know what your sexual boundaries are. You need to know what you're okay with, what you're not okay with. You need to even know, like I know many of the girlies who watch, and I mean that respectfully because we have some ladies in their 70s and such. You need to be comfortable being able to articulate your expectations. Now, you don't show up off the top like, "Oh yeah, this is what I want. This you need to respect me, or why you asking sex, But you could be curious, like, "Oh, it's really early to be talking about sex, don't you think? Or I thought we were Christians, so why are we talking about sex? I thought it was understood based off of the Lord we serve that we would be having sex until we're married." Now, do I believe when you're engaged, you need to be having sex? You need to have, not be having sex, Lord. You need to have conversations about sex. You absolutely do, to make sure you're compatible. You need to be paying attention if this man is lustful. You need to know if this man watches porn. You need to know those things. But you need to also know if he's trying to push sexual boundaries. You need to know if he's trying to trauma bond with you. Why he always telling you all his secrets? The first time y'all have a conversation, he going to tell you about what his mama did, what his ex-wife did, and all those things. You pay attention to that, okay? You pay attention to a man who talks about not being ready, but he tells you verbally he's not ready, but he wants to do all the relationship things with you. If a man tells you he's not ready, then leave him alone. Don't perform to be chosen. He's not ready for a relationship, because you know what's going to happen? It's going to bite you in the butt. And later on, he's going to say, "Well, I told you I wasn't ready. I told you I didn't know what I wanted." But he's demanding from you girlfriend things. Don't fall for that trick. Okay? Right? He has unresolved drama with the ex. He can tell you everything that she did wrong. She's keeping the babies for me. Or unresolved drama could also be, we still live together. We have a business together. If his life is still intertwined with hers, that's not okay. That's a sign that you need to move around. Okay? I want you to stop translating his dysfunction into potential. He needs to be free. One of the young, I always say young, I don't know how old y'all are, child. One of the Heal Squad members asked me to do a video about a man and his female friends. If that female friend is showing up in his life and there's no space for you, then that's his woman. Move around. I don't care. I don't care. A man needs to be single as a dollar bill, and the space that you occupy in his life, you should have to wrestle for, you shouldn't have to fight for, you shouldn't have to perform for. He should be like, this is Victory space. This is Valerie space. The man should have space for you in his life. You should not have to fight any woman, past or present, in order to be in that space, and he will make it clear that you are his woman. Okay? Stop overriding red flags. If you saw the red flag and you explained it away, Mm-mm. You should get curious. Now, this is the thing. There are some red flags that should be unique to you. There was someone I was working with, and I told her, oh, if the relationship becomes very intense quickly, I told her that's a red flag for you. Pay attention to that. If for you it's getting intense very quickly, then you need to slow down. Okay? That means you're bypassing something and your body is telling you that this is a red flag. So if you see a red flag, I encourage you to be curious. For instance, you told him that your face routine is at 9:05. At 9 o'clock, he calls you at 9:05. You don't answer. The next day you say, hey, sweets, I told you that I do my face routine at 9:05, but you called me. Oh, I'm so sorry. At 8:30, I got caught up in a business call. It ran over. I was trying to get in touch with you. I really wanted to talk to you. All right. And then he's consistent and he doesn't do it again. Okay, boom, we're good. But let's say same scenario and he keeps calling you after 9, let it go. Because if a man pushes your small boundaries, he's going to push your big boundaries. And if you allow it, you're teaching him that he doesn't have to respect you. Okay? Don't explain away the red flags, or he's just busy. He's just guarded. He's just too scared. I know for me as a therapist, if I'm dating a man and I feel a block emotionally, like we can't move forward, to me, that's a red flag and I have to respect that. As a therapist, I need someone who's emotionally available. I don't care what he went through in his life. Did he do the work? And is he emotionally available to me? Is he able to be vulnerable? If he's not, we can't move forward. And so you have to know what the red flags are for you, and you probably do. But you have overrid them whenever you saw them, experienced them, or felt them. And we're not doing that anymore. Okay? He just needs time. None of these things. Okay? If it feels confusing, unstable, or unsafe in your nervous system, pause. And I also told you, if you got to pull on the same resiliency that you developed in your childhood in order to be in the relationship, you need to run. That's not your man. There's a level of safety and nurturance and care and kindness that should be available to you in your romantic relationship. And if it's not there, that's not your man. But you have to trust yourself that when you see these things, that you're able to disconnect and move on, because you have the strength to do that. Okay? I want you to date from standards, not hope. Hope says maybe he'll grow. Standard says he doesn't meet my criteria. I forget what video it was. Maybe the video about don't date like your mom, and I'll tag it up here. I said that you should never lower your standards for a man. And the reason why I gave the example that if you were going to Harvard, nobody's suing Harvard to be like, yes, my SAT score is a 12, but still let me in. Whoever you're going to, if you believe in marriage and want to be married, or just in relationship, period, and not just romantic relationship, your friendships, they need to meet your standards. Period. In my life, anybody who's in my life, you see me with anybody, you see me talked about anyone, I talk about Tia, Morgan, Antoinette. These are my friends. They take care of me. They nurture me. They're kind to me. They're considerate of me. Okay? So your standards are not non-negotiables. We don't negotiate care. I dated a technician, right? He worked on cars. Every car has a manual. If you don't follow the manual, what happens? The car breaks down. He likes a car. If he's not following the manual of how you've taught him how to treat you, then the relationship is over. Break down. Stop explaining what you need. Who is it? Recently there was that conversation. I think his name was Clifton Powell. We'll talk about some. A woman needs to teach me how to love her. Ain't nobody got to teach you. Stop trying to teach that. Show me how to love. No. By the time I'm 37. Now, this is different if you're 18 and 19. That's different. Okay? But when I'm 37, by the time you get here, you should know how to love. How many women have been in your life that you're not paying? You don't want to do it. He don't want to love you, sis. If you have to keep explaining what you need to him, he don't love you. He don't love you. Don't want to love you. Let him go. He don't meet your criteria. It's a deal breaker. It may be a deal breaker for you if a man has children. Maybe a deal breaker for you if a man has been divorced. It is what it is. It is what it is, and that's okay. You are tailor-made, and whoever your man is tailor-made for you. And your non-negotiables, your standards, show you, teach you who you are compatible with. That period, point blank period. That it is what it is. Okay. I want you to not build standards around him, but your standards are your standards. You build your standards before. Didn't we say we was having a strict program this year? Your standards are your standards, period. We're not having a conversation about it. Well, why can't I call you later? Or why can't I see you at this day? No, you can't because I'm unavailable. I'm busy. Essentially, he's asking you, why won't you allow me to mistreat you and mishandle you? Because I'm not. Ain't nobody signing up for you to break their heart, for you to mistreat them. Okay? So your standards aren't built around him. They're built before him. Watch how he handles your boundaries, as I've said before. The safest men reveal themselves when you say no. Does he get upset when you say no? Does he try to punish you with the silent treatment when you say no? How does he show up when you say no? And no is a complete sentence. Especially for my young girlies in their 20s. No is a complete sentence. You do not have to explain yourself, and a healthy man won't make you explain. Well, why? I don't understand. I don't understand. Does he guilt trip you? Does he push back? Does he tell you, well, that's dumb, that's stupid? Does he withdraw affection? Boundaries don't push good men away. They expose men who aren't good men. Everything has a manual. Everything will tell you how to treat it. You are the manual for you. And a man will respect you and your boundaries. And guess what? He's going to respect you and your boundaries because he has his own boundaries. He's going to teach you how to treat him. He's going to teach you what his standards are. He's going to teach you what his non-negotiables are. Okay? I want you to know that you are not powerless. Yes, you chose wrong before, but that probably was because, right? You ignored yourself. You ignored your needs, your true needs. You made sacrifices. You compromises in ways that you shouldn't have. It could be something as simple as you co-signed on an auto loan and you know you shouldn't have done it. You know when that man told you that he was going to pay the loan and he was going to be consistent that he wasn't. His credit told you that. His credit told you that he wasn't consistent. His credit told you that he didn't respect Charles Schwab and them, Visa and them. So how was he going to respect you? Okay. You romanticize the struggle. These men, I want to ride or die. No, sugar, Stop romanticizing the struggle. Men who say things like, you know, if I did all of this, what do I need you for? Men who want you to struggle with them, that's a red flag. We is not from the color purple. All my life I had to fight. I'm not about to fight with you. I ain't fighting with you. I'm not wrestling with you when I can be by myself. Don't let no man trick you into struggling with him. Oh, baby, yeah, I got this idea for this business, right? Okay, well, then go ahead and do it. I'm going to support you, sugar. Oh, well, can you get this? No, I can't get no loan for you, baby doll. I can't do it. Well, we're married. We are. And if we're married, why would you put your wife in this predicament? Us being married doesn't mean that you get to take advantage of me. Oh, I can't hear nobody. But I bet you there's an ex-wife in the comments. Go ahead and tell her. Go ahead and let us know. Being married don't mean he get to take advantage of you. Being married don't mean he get to put loans and stuff in your name. Being married don't mean he get to take advantage of you. He driving your car because he's irresponsible. Right? I want you to know before you confuse intimacy with intensity, not vulnerability, not responsibility. Any man who wants intimacy, not sex, but access to your soul, your mind, your will, your emotions, needs to be able to be vulnerable to you. Why do you feel so vulnerable to him, but he's mysterious to you? You got to stop romanticizing him being mysterious. Yo, he's just guarded. So, okay, if he's guarded, leave him there. He needs to be emotionally available. He needs to demonstrate safety. Everything that a man wants you to be, he needs to show up as. He the head, ain't he? That's what they say. How come his standards are so high for you, his expectations are so high for you, but he don't even live up to those expectations for himself? If you took a moment and looked at his life, would you want to switch lives with him? Don't let no man show up in your life shortchanging you, right? Don't do that. Now you're dating differently, right? You're asking questions. You're slowing down to reflect on what he says and if his answers match his behavior. You're healing. You're learning your patterns and how you show up, but you're also learning his patterns and you're paying attention to them. Sometimes the reason why you may have chosen poorly in the past is because you didn't pay attention to the pattern. You're building standards. That's growth. You're not afraid of choosing wrong. You're afraid of reliving the pain. And we all understand. Let me tell you this. I always say to myself, if I should go through my cancer journey again, so what? So what? Now I know what to expect. Now I got a cancer policy, so I'm gonna give you some cash. Okay? I know how my body responds to chemo. If I go through cancer again, I go through it through a place of empowerment. I've lost my hair before, so I know how to deal with that emotionally. I know the support that I need around me. If it should happen, which I'm praying it never does, this time I go through it from a place of knowledge and understanding. And the same is for you as relates to your dating. Okay? You've grown. You've grown. Even if you misjudge him, you know how to leave faster. You know how to detach quicker. You know that you're not going to abandon yourself. You're not going to overstay. That's the win. That's the win. And you have to understand that. Even if you choose, again, wrong, you can leave quicker. You stayed in that relationship for 6 months. This one was 30 days. Out of there. Your eyes are open. You're dating logically. You're not dating from your heart. You're dating selfishly. You're moving slower. The goal isn't perfect discernment, right? It's quicker discernment. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So now you got to go. You see how he talks about other people. You see how he treats people. You see how he maybe pushes boundaries or he doesn't. You see how he's respectful. You see how he's kind. You see how he's considerate. You see how he's consistent. Your eyes are open and you're dating from a different space because you are a different woman. Okay? So let's talk about how to rebuild self-trust. If you want to stop dating from fear, I want you to do this. I want you to journal the red flags that you ignored last time. Go back to your previous relationship. Begin to pick it apart. See how you showed up and how he showed up. See the red flags. I know you're already replaying the conversations that he had before. That was like, oh, I should have paid attention to that. Now write it down. Write it down. Make it concrete so you can see it. Okay? Identify the moment you knew, but you stayed. It was this time, picture it, Sicily, 1947. It was at 3:15 p.m. and we were at the grocery store and there was a woman who smirked at him and he smirked back. And I got this sensation in my gut and it just dropped. And I realized he was having an affair. A lot of women stay because you are looking for proof after proof after proof. You're waiting for that man to crush your heart. And really, you should leave at the first sign. Okay? So identify the moment you knew, but you stayed. The moment that you knew he was lying to you, but you stayed. Identify that. The moment that you saw the message pop on his cell phone, but you stayed. The moment a letter came to the house, you read it, but you stayed. Identify why you stayed. Not the I didn't want to break up my family, but get down to the root of it. Smithy, I have an abandonment wound, and I stayed because I didn't want to be abandoned. I have a rejection wound. I stayed because I didn't want to be rejected. I stayed because of his influence. I stayed because of how people saw us. They saw us as a power couple. I stayed because of the church and the teaching of the church. Identify why you stayed. Then forgive that version of you. Forgive yourself. And then create a new boundary for the mistake so you don't engage in that mistake again. Okay? I ignored inconsistency for 4 months. New boundary. If he's inconsistent for 2 weeks, I'll address it. If it continues, I disengage. Be quicker. Be quicker. Society is going to tell you, you need to work with a man. You need to do it. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because a man is not even going to show up and really engage in this type of behavior. Is he human? Yes. And we all slip up or whatever. But the things that you tolerated in your relationship before, you shouldn't continue to tolerate. Okay? So, if you're still here, I want to say thank you so much for rocking with me. Sign up for group coaching on the 28th at 10 o'clock Eastern. Or you may say, Samithia, I really need some help with this. I want to work through this. My schedule is open for March and for April, so schedule your session. This is Heal the New Sexy. My name is Samithia.